Here now with head coach Anna Nimz. Another thriller today in Prather, 54-52, the final score. Demons on top, reminiscent of the one a couple weeks ago with McNeese, where it was a defensive stop that we absolutely had to have. And one of the many that we got today came at the very end. Take us through those final few seconds, I guess, on the defensive side first.
I think let's go back maybe a little bit further. There was maybe about roughly 38 seconds left on the clock. Obviously, that provides 2 possessions in the game. We wanted to use as much of that clock as we absolutely could. I just had shared with Giselle Woodson a second ago, but we wanted the ball in her hands there down the stretch. She had that driving lane all night. Didn't connect on it there last couple possessions. Hit a nice little floater in the paint, so you knew that confidence was on the rise. They had to guard Candace Paramore in the corner, who had just had an excellent night. They couldn't help off Jo because she had 9 there in the second half. And the lane drive was there. What I'm most proud of is as that clock was ticking, I was counting right in her ear. But the more I watched her, the more I was watching her watch the clock. And that's just tremendous growth for us as a team, for her as a point guard, just from last year to this year, 10 games ago to right now. And she connected on it. And they immediately got ready to play defense. So again, just absolutely locked in. They call a timeout. And this is where I've got to give credit where credit's due. Obviously, I have a great staff. Everybody's coming and offering up ideas. Coach A put out an opportunity for us to do. We only were at 3 count on the foul, so we had 1 to give, and there were 6 seconds left. And so we were able to allow them to get it in. If they were going to slow dribble, then we were going to let it go, and then foul. Just to let a couple of seconds go off the clock. But hats off to my staff, hats off to Coach A. That was absolutely great thinking, clutch thinking down the stretch. And then even bigger to that point is our team bought in. They knew the difference between a quick dribble and needing to foul, or if they were going to slow play it on that dribble, then we could let them waste a little bit of time before we fouled. And I actually think Candace got pretty close to a turnover and being able to maybe go get a layup the other way. So just amazing. We knew they probably would want to go inside to the post play. 41, tremendous post play. But we were able to foul, a couple seconds left. They ended up having an opportunity to take it out again, and the girls locked down. They did a great job. We got a little baseline drive, decent backside rotation help, walled up, didn't foul, and won the game. And that's just, again, that's just credit to this team. We talk a lot about finding that growth, finding that mental maturity, and I think they're starting to find it and believe in themselves, and that's just number one. You got to believe in yourself before us telling you how much we believe in you actually matters. And I think down the stretch, they believed that they could. And just as exciting is, Candace had went up to hit those free throws down the stretch, and she looked at me and she believed and made a defensive call, and I backed her. And it was her decision to switch into that defense, and I think that that's awesome. I think it's awesome that I trust, because I know if she wanted that, then they were going to sell out to it. And at the end of the day, whether I want you in man or zone, if the girls, the 5 on the court, are going to sell out to something, that's what you want your team in. And it was just nice. It was just some growth that we hadn't seen yet, and they're starting to move forward, and it's fun.
You mentioned the denial there on that last play, but that really started earlier in the game, especially that third quarter. It really seemed like Lamar went to it a lot more. They got a few buckets here and there. I mean, kudos, tip your hat kind of deal. But throughout the night, Jazz and Jo positioning, like I said, denying the pass, not making them easy passes inside around the bucket, so to let the whoever was down there work, 14, 41, whoever it was. Huge tonight. Yeah, absolutely. Our 5s are in a dogfight every single game in this conference.
We have 6'6" and 6'2" sitting over there on the bench, and we've got 3 young ladies. 2 are guards, truthfully, and 1 post player, and they're selling out to their role and what's going to help the team win. But they're in a dogfight every night. I know Jazz is on the stat line. Jazz had 2 rebounds, but how many did she stop 41 from getting? Jo came in, wasn't necessarily on point offensively there in the first half, but again, just like in the last game, she came on in that second half. We were able to isolate her, a guard, versus some of these big girls and try to get them out. And J-Mac, she played 3 minutes roughly there, but those are the most important 3 minutes. And they're exactly what this team needed. And so just that buy-in to your role and understanding that purpose and how big. We don't win the game unless J-Mac gives us those 3 minutes. And that's just how it is. Jo got into foul trouble. Jazz was a little bit bummed up. And we have kids stepping in and filling some minutes that we absolutely need. But dogfight every night. I thought they did very well on their scout defense. Only a few times do I feel like we kind of missed our job on that. So, but yeah, definitely hats off to those kids.
And then real quickly, I know the ending is the exciting thing with the win and all that, but take us back real quick to the first quarter. CP, Shauna come out shooting fire everywhere. They scored all 21 points in that first quarter. Getting that start that you wanted, still want some other people to get in on it, but piecing it together.
Oh, it's huge. It's huge. It's something that they're on that 2-game road skid. We didn't start till maybe the second quarter or third quarter at that. And so that's something we really talked a lot about, and I thought that they did a nice job this week. Not only in practice, but they showed that when they start quick and try to take the air out of the other team, that we got a shot. And without that first quarter, we went on one of those another lull offensively. Thankfully, our defense was able to slow down their scoring, but we've got to make sure that got to hit the open ones. But that quick start allowed us to not get down versus having to play when Lamar was hitting and we were struggling on that end. So really proud of them. Jazz, we drew up a defensive tip. Jazz got the tip, and just a great way to start the game.
Okay, just talking about Candace, I just can't help but talk about her. So being able to see her, and I feel like she's kind of that spark that when she wasn't playing and then she's coming back and then she makes this huge comeback and everything. Like, you can tell that she wants it, and then when she wants it, the team follows.
I do, and I think everybody wants it all the time, but I think she plays such a big role in this program, and although, you hate to see a kid go out, I've always challenged kids that when you go out, come sit over here and watch it from a coach's perspective, and sometimes the game slows down a little bit, but also I think you realize how much you miss it and what a privilege it is, and so when you come back, it's all in, all out, and I think she's done nothing less than all in, all out.
And the trust that you have in Giselle to be able to have that, the last few seconds, just talk about the trust you had in her to be able to make that.
I think she's just done a really nice job. She stepped into our starting point guard role since the beginning of season. And when she plays 40 minutes, she's just outstanding. But she has kept us in games. She's calmed us down. She's been able to facilitate our offense. But she's all in, and you can see it. She's working individually on those little bunnies right there at the hoop. Didn't make a couple down the stretch, but she found that floater, and at that point, it's all confidence, But it's because Candace had done her job, so they needed to guard her in the corner. It's because Jo did her job, so they had to guard her in the 5. She had a great lane drive, and I'm just proud of her just overall basketball IQ growth. Not getting too excited and going too early, understanding that we didn't want that at 10 seconds. We needed that at 5, 4, 3, 2 bucket. And she did it. And there's so many things. I'm proud of the win, but there's so many individual things about what transpired today that I'm touched. I'm proud. I'm excited for them.
You always say we have to put it together for 4 quarters and everything, and then turnover wise, you always talk about that. So just talk about being able to even surpass the goal that you've always had.
Yeah, that's excellent. I'm going to kind of giggle just like Giselle because we have a number that we want to keep ourselves under. Rarely do we. It's been something that's plagued us. But they did a great job because we had 7 at half, and to finish the game with 10 after they started pressing us, I just think that the girls had already settled into the game and they were trusting one another. They were playing hard one another. Timeouts became quick talks by us, but all of a sudden it became pretty player led. So anytime that's happening, I think it's just positive and things are moving in the right direction.
So what was the message to the team after just being able to keep this on a high?
Truthfully, I told them in the locker room, I said, every single one of you in any part of your recruiting spiel that I gave, every single one of you was told you're coming here to change a culture, to build a culture that NSU and the community can be proud of, and get NSU back on the map. And I said, the last 2 games, I said, the more you guys pull together, the more you're making that come true. And I said, I'm just proud of you. I think they're doing a tremendous job, and you can start to see what Lady Demon basketball is about. Are we perfect? Absolutely not. Do we have a lot of room to grow? Absolutely. But they're starting to make some strides, and as a staff, there's just we're getting things moving. But it's going to be an uphill battle. For every one you win, it just makes it that much harder to get the next one. So very happy, very proud, ready to put my head down in some film and go watch next week's opponent.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you much. Welcome, Demons.